trying to identify if you need to swap out a keg, the first way you want to check is down here. You can tell by weight. If it's easy to move around, it's probably low, or by sound. If it sounds hollow, as opposed to full and resonates, then it probably needs to be changed out. The more obvious way is to come up to your keg this way and pull it. If it's bubbling like this and all you're hearing is gas, then it probably needs to be changed out. Okay, so the next step you need to do after you've identified if your keg needs to be swapped out is you need to make sure that you turn off the CO2 to that keg. So if you look in here, we have a manifold in the back. The keg that we're going to be changing out is on the far right. So whenever you're turning off any manifold, you need to make sure that your valve is perpendicular to the line, which is like this. This means that no more CO2 is going to be going into the keg. After you've done that, you pull a pin on the very top of the keg, like so, and you hear that pressure release. Once you hear all the pressure release, that means that the CO2 is no longer inside the keg and it's safe to be disconnected. Whenever you're disconnecting a keg, these are quick disconnect couplings, okay? So the best way to do that is you want to start with your gas line as to make sure that no more pressure is getting in. We've already disconnected the CO2, but there could still be some in the line that we don't want getting in the keg. So there's a ring around here. We want to pull up on this ring, like so. And once it's like that, we just slip it right off. If you're having issues slipping it off, that may be because you're not pulling the ring up all the way and you don't want to force it. That's the gas line, and you want to do the same thing with your fluid line. So you lift up on this ring and then slip it off right there. Okay, the next step that we're going to do is clean out the line. In order to do that, first we need to gather the materials that we need. So first, that means we need a large bucket. This bucket is going to catch whatever's left in this line. We've already purged the line with the CO2 from the top, so we shouldn't have anything left in here. But we'll run the cleaning solution through the top of the tap, and all of that solution will go down into here. Next is we need to gather our pump. So this is a hand pump, and it's already connected to this cleaning solution. Use whatever instructions that you have for the cleaning solution that you're using to clean out your keg. The next step that we have is actually cleaning out the fluid line. In order to do that, we need to be able to run this solution through this tap. So we have to take the tap off. So whenever we're taking the tap off, we're going to do it the opposite of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey because of the way that it's screwed on here. Using the tool that you have for your keg. Now, sometimes you'll have fluid buildup in here and it'll spill, which is why you want to have a rag ready, a spring, or you could have a washer or something else in there, so make sure you don't lose that. Now, our hand pump comes with a washer, so we want to make sure that that's in there so we get a tight seal whenever we're pushing this through. We're going to line that up, and then we're going to screw it on like so. After that's screwed on tight, you can even use your tool to make sure that that has a tight seal. You're going to press your pump, okay? Now you can already start to see this cleaning solution go through. And if you see down here at the bottom, we're cleaning out the line. So you only have to press it once or twice, and it'll create a vacuum inside our cleaning solution bottle, and it should be able to run the rest of the way, as you can see up here. So the vacuum is automatically pulling the liquid out through the line, so you don't have to keep pumping it through. For best results, you want to do this twice. Okay. So now we've gotten to the end of our cleaning solution. Your bottle looks like this, and we're assuming that you've done this 2 times now. So in order to best release the pressure, it's best to just start and release right here. You can just screw this part off first. After you've done that, you want to take this part back off. Now once again, you're going to have some liquid built up in here. And for the most thorough job, it's a good idea to go ahead and get inside these parts with a rag or a brush or something to clean out these areas right here. You also want to do that on this inside part of your tap or this part of your tap. Whenever you pull it back, it can get some gunk in here, like so. So this way and that way. You also can get a brush for most taps to clean this nozzle out right here. So now we're going to go ahead and screw this back on. Make sure you have your spring. You put it back in the correct way. If you don't put it back in the correct way, you could have possible leaks whenever you're reconnecting. So now we've reconnected and we've tightened down with our tool. The line is now clean, as you can see here, and we're ready to reconnect our new keg. Now that you're done with the cleaning of the line and you're ready to reconnect your new keg, you're going to take your coupling that you had disconnected and you're going to screw it back in. You want to make sure that it's screwed in nice and tight as to not have any leaks. Okay. After you've done that, you'll take your keg. Now your keg has two sides, two valves. One side is always going to be your inside or your gas valve, and the other side is going to be your outside or your liquid valve. Now there's only one guaranteed way to know this for sure. Even though a lot of places, a lot of them will say in and out, or some of them will just be different shapes, or a lot of people do it differently. But the only way to know for sure is these hexagon notches right here. So on the gas side or the inside, there will always be notches. On the outside, there will never be notches. So that right now on this keg, that's really the only difference. Once you've identified the correct side, you want to make sure you hook your gas line up to your gas, just like you did with the quick release coupling. You want to pull up, press down, and release. And then do the same thing with your fluid line. Same thing, pull up, press down, and release. There it goes. Okay, after you do that, you want to make sure that your line stays above the top of the keg. This ensures that you have proper flow to your tap. Now that you've done this, you want to go ahead and turn on your gas line back on the back side of the manifold. Once you turn the gas line on, check for any leaks. The best way to do that is to listen. If you hear a whistling sound or any air escaping, that means that there could be a gas leak in your line, and you'll want to turn everything off and try and identify that leak so that you don't run out of CO2 or run into other issues. Now that you've done that, you want to do one final purge on your keg. Since they pressurize on their own, it could have a high amount of pressure in here already, and we don't want that to affect the product whenever it comes out of the top of the tap. Once you've finished hooking up your keg and you've cleaned out the line, the last thing you need to do is you need to make sure you pour a first cup. You pour this cup, you want to make sure that there's not too much foam coming out or that all the pressure is correct. If you're having incorrect pressure, you can go back and troubleshoot that later. But it looks like we have good pressure, there's no excess foam, so we have a solid cup of kombucha and we can enjoy it.